This is the AM News. I'm Sweetie Abochi. Let's get straight into the details, starting with hundreds of business owners at the Aboabo Timber Market in Tamale are yet to come to terms with the devastating losses of their livelihoods after a fire swept through the market on Monday evening. The blaze destroyed shops and valuables worth thousands of Ghana cedis, leaving many businesses in jeopardy. Now, this is the second fire to hit the area within 12 hours on the same day. While the actual cause remains unclear, the Ghana National Fire Service has launched an investigation to uncover the cause of the disaster. There's more in this report.
The fire swept through the Aboabo Timber Market, destroying shops, a warehouse and properties worth thousands of Ghana cedis. This is the second fire outbreak in the town in a day. The Northern Regional Fire Service Commander, Assistant Officer Grade 2, Franklin Maseku, stated that an investigation is yet to be initiated to determine the exact cause of the fire.
Say the exact cause of the fire, because one, it is in the night, and two, we just finished firefighting, completed the firefighting. So tomorrow, God willing, we will commence our investigation, and when we are done with the investigation, we shall what the cause. For the time, as at 9, now we are talking about 11. We have just gone past 11, almost 12 a.m. And so that is about 3 hours to 4 hours. But trust me, if we were having water, enough water, this shouldn't take us more than 2 hours to extend.
Mr. Maseku also urged the general public to exercise caution and avoid situations that could lead to
Harmattan season. Harmattan is coupled with windy and harsh weather condition, and so for that matter, burning becomes very easy. Any little fire, trust me, can develop into a huge and bigger fire like we saw today. And so anything at all we use fire for, we should be attentive and stay until we are done with whatever we are using the fire for before we leave. We should also try as much as possible to off our electrical gadgets and unplug them when we are not in use or we are not more using them. And then at our workplaces, we should do same. We should also try to avoid exposing sources of fires or heat, especially matches and lighters, exposing them to children. Please, a child has or her limit. Children should not be playing with such things. They are fire hazards, and so we should avoid such practices.
The incident adds to the 45 fire outbreaks recorded between November 2024 and the first week of January 2025, which highlights the urgent need for increased vigilance and preventive measures.
In the coming days, the entire country may be plunged into total darkness as its fuel reserves run out, owing to the failure to settle outstanding debts. The energy sector is burdened with a debt of approximately $3.5 billion, leaving the country's fuel stock capable of supplying power for only up to 5 hours. Speaking to Joy News during the presidential inauguration in Accra, former ranking member on Energy Committee John Jinapo warned that Ghana may face a severe energy crisis if the insufficient fuel situation is not addressed immediately. Here's more.
I don't have bad news for you. Just today, the confirmation we are getting is that we have only 5 hours of fuel stock. If you look at heavy fuel oil and distillate fuel, we don't have up to 2 days. And so in 2 days' time, we are likely to run out of fuel. This administration has not ordered any fuel as we speak. And it takes on average 4 weeks for the fuel to arrive and 4 weeks for the fuel to be treated. And so we are in a very serious situation. At the transition, we brought this up. The outgoing administration assured us that they had procured some parcels of fuel. Today, right after President Mahama assumed office, and I served on the transition, my checks indicate that we do not have fuel that can cater for even 2 days. So clearly we have a major problem. And this is an incoming administration. Even if you order the fuel, like I'm telling you, it will take about 8 weeks. So we are in for real trouble.
Away from that, John Dramani Mahama is now officially the president of Ghana, having sworn the oath of office at the Black Star Square in the presence of thousands of witnesses. Now, the grand occasion had 21 heads of state and several distinguished international dignitaries. Outgoing President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his Vice President Dr. Mamudu Bawumia gracefully handed over the baton of leadership. A sea of jubilant citizens also bore witness to the oath-taking, and President Mahama pledged to serve with integrity and foster inclusive development.
Of my fellow countrymen and women who joined long queues and waited in the sun for their turn to vote for me, you have my sincerest thanks for honoring me. My firm, immutable assurance is that your votes will matter in the work that I'll do to make a difference in the destiny of this dear nation of ours. Your courage to bring change will not go in vain. Our nation was born with much promise. That promise would seem hazy and in doubt now because of all that has happened in the past. But I urge you, my fellow countrymen, not to be sucked into a state of perpetual pessimism. For some time, our country has urgently needed leadership with an unwavering desire to get things done. I, with all humility, assent that I intend to be that leader with your cooperation and your help. As your next leader, I shall strive to exercise sound judgment and be able to make the right calls at the right time. I will have the humility and presence of mind to take responsibility for any challenges and be willing to act firmly and timeously to resolve the challenges that we face as a nation. Since the elections, I have read and heard the word hope used many times in relation to my presidency and what it should offer the citizens of Ghana. I intend to speak plainly and clearly to you today, and every time I address you subsequently, I intend to always tell you the truth.
President John Dramani Mahama over there, and he takes over as President of Ghana, continuing the long-standing tradition where presidents-elect wear traditional attire at the inauguration. But this time, his outfit carries more than just ceremonial significance. It conveys a message woven in Adinkra symbols. My colleague Emmanuel Jivenu explores the meaning behind these symbols to reinforce his inaugural address to the nation.
President John Dramani Mahama holds more than just the mantle of leadership. His agbada carries a message woven in Adinkra symbols, a fabric rich with tradition and purpose. His white garment adorned with kente stripes, symbolizing the unity and pride of the nation. Beyond the fabric, however, lies a deeper narrative, a silent sermon conveyed through the four Adinkra motifs placed in cardinal positions: Jinyame, Sankofa, Dwinemen, and Nyamidia. Each symbol tells a story. These symbols are an embodiment of values, cultural wisdom, and aspirations, mirroring his campaign promises, inaugural speech, and vision for Ghana. The president's attire bears the enduring mark of Jinyame, which means except God, the most revered of Adinkra symbols. This motif proclaims a reflection of President Mahama's acknowledgement of divine providence in his return to the presidency after 8 years. In his inaugural address, he began with gratitude.
Our Father who art in heaven, we thank you for giving us this day, a day that offers me, your humble servant, a unique opportunity to work to reset our dear country, Ghana.
The Sankofa is perhaps the most popular Adinkra symbol, representing redemption, renewal, and a nation ready to correct its course. Mahama's campaign slogan echoed these ethos, resetting Ghana and building a country we want together. His words at the ceremony reaffirmed this.
Today should mark the beginning of a new opportunity. An opportunity for us to make a difference in our governance and our economic management. We shall reset our dear nation, Ghana.
The intricate design of the Dwuneming, symbolizing strength, tempered by humility. Mahama's journey is a proof to this. Once a president, then an opposition leader, and now returning with an air of introspection. He embodies the balance of power and humility. His words capture this duality.
As your next leader, I shall strive to exercise sound judgment and be able to make the right calls at the right time. I will have the humility and presence of mind to take responsibility for any challenges and be willing to act firmly and timelessly to resolve the challenges that we face as a nation.
Finally, the Nyamidua, signifying God's presence and protection, completes the motifs. In Ghanaian culture, this sacred stamp is a symbol of reliance on divine guidance. As President Mahama stood beneath the Ghanaian sky, he offered thanks. Nyamidua reinforces his promise of leadership rooted in faith and a vision of unity and progress.
With Nana, Jane, Opoku-Agyeman by my side, we are poised to embark on a journey of progress and inclusivity, united in our vision for a more prosperous Ghana.
As President John Dramani Mahama leads Ghana into a new chapter, he does so with a clear vision, one of resetting Ghana, building a brighter future together, and relying on the values that have shaped the nation for generations. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Accra.
And Emmanuel Jivenu knows how to tell a story. Away from that, Aboabo Group based in La Paz here in Accra brought electrifying energy to the inauguration of President John Dramani Mahama, performing for free as a gesture of their support and admiration for the new administration. And speaking to Joy News, leaders of the group expressed their happiness in contributing to the historic occasion. Maxwell Agbagba tells us more.
The inauguration ceremony has ended here at the Black Star Square. It's time for celebration. And what we're witnessing here, a Aboabo Group just set up right here in the inner perimeter of the inauguration grounds. Of course, the inauguration has ended and some Aboabo music. Time to enjoy some Aboabo music. I have the leader of the group here with me. Let's speak to him. Hi, what's your name, sir?
My name is Gabriel Ajogba.
Gabriel, okay, what's the name of your group?
The group name is Ajogina Fafali Aboabo Band. We came on our own. We tried, but we couldn't get the access. So we came on our own.
Wow.
Yes.
To perform free?
Yes.
To the people here?
Yes.
Why do you feel the need to do this?
Yes, it's because of the victory. The victory goes to all of us. So we feel like we need to contribute. We feel like we need to contribute to the victory.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this is to entertain the people?
Yes. So we used to entertain people. Even if you are doing engagement, outdooring, funeral, and etc. Anything to invite us, you can call us.
Okay. If you are doing this for free, without being paid, I'm sure you are particularly excited because John Mahama has been sworn in as president.
Yes.
What are your expectations of John Mahama as the new president?
Oh, what we need or what we want from the president to do for we, the youth, we need jobs, as he promised. So, and we know he will deliver. That is why we are here, to support him.
How can anyone hear these sounds and remain still? But away from that, Overlord of the Wala State, Hussein Seidu Pelpio IV, has commended President-elect John Dramani Mahama for his endorsement of the retention of Alban Kingsford Sumana Bagbin as Speaker of the 9th Parliament. Now, in a statement read on his behalf by spokesperson Jenpehi Na Kadri Ibrahim, noted that the recommendation to MPs to retain Alban Bagbin is a manifestation that President-elect, now President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, has a discerning eye and approve of quality. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Speaker Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, few months ago, was ensconced by the Wallo Overlord, now Hussein CDP IV, as a sub-chief of Dakale, a sacred pond where the totem crocodiles of the people reside. His endorsement of President-elect John Dramani Mahama, who a few years ago was also ensconced by the Wallo Overlord as the chief of the pond of Queen Mothers, Napobokale, to be the Speaker of the 9th Parliament, is refreshing, who they commended the latter over. Addressing the press on behalf of the Overlord of the Wala State, spokesperson Jimpen Nakadir Ibrahim noted that Speaker Alban Bagbin showed his mettle and had his head over the water even under difficult circumstances, which earned the respect of all.
The Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament of the 8th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, the Dakaralena, acquitted himself creditably and gained a top-notch regard for himself, despite the fact that he had to manage the most difficult parliament in the history of parliamentary democracy in Ghana.
He commended President-elect for his decision to recommend him to be retained as the Speaker of the 9th Parliament.
Settling on the Right Honorable Dakaralena Alban S.K. Bagbin to steer the affairs of the 9th Parliament is a manifestation that you have a discerning eye and approve of quality and commitment to selfless service. It is patently clear that you are looking for the best to help you run the country. With the Right Honorable Dakaralena Alban S.K. Bagbin, you are spot on, Your Excellency, and the whole nation is behind you.
A series of programs were held at the One House Palace, which included the slaughtering of cow for sacrificial purposes and the recitation of all 114 chapters of the Holy Quran for Allah to guide the President-elect and the Speaker in their dealings, and also for the peace of the country. Imam of the Central Mosque, Alhaji Yaya Ponjang, sandwiched by his clansmen from the Mari, who serves as the spiritual godfathers of the World Overlord, and joined by Yerenamine and other sects and heads of the Wala State, took charge of the chronic recitation. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam.
From Wa, let's get straight into our business updates with Samuel Kojobrace.
Well, let's do the AM update. And finance professor at Andrews University, Williams Pepper, says the new government must enhance the property tax to help rake in more revenue. According to him, the new government's plans to remove some taxes, such as the e-levy and betting tax, will pose a threat to revenue mobilization, hence the need to aggressively find alternatives to generate more revenue. He spoke to Joy Business.
Remember, this first quarter budget was done by the previous government. So they still did the budget based on their strategy, which is a little bit in line with the IMF program. I'm sure the government in the first quarter will have to review that budget, and they may have to align some of the expenditure items. I'm sure we are still not going to have 120 ministers, so that section of the expenses will have to be relooked at. Also, in terms of, there's one line item that the previous government wanted to make sure that we get revenue from, which they failed, which is the property tax. If the e-levy and covert taxes are going to be abolished, the alternative for government is to make sure that they ensure that the property tax regime is enhanced. And that one alone, I'm sure there are a lot of studies that have been done that they say that that one alone can give us almost about 2 to 3% of our GDP, revenue to GDP. So that portion will be able to make up for any shortfall that may arise going forward. So the property tax regime must be ensured that comes into force. And to me, when these are done, that is going to be able to ensure that that deficit that we are talking about will be reduced significantly. So the business environment have suffered from two main angles. One, instability in the exchange rate regime, and two, unfriendly tax administration. We know that the business community though they complain about the issue of exchange rate, the direct one that they see, that they think that they can manage, is that our tax administration is not friendly enough. So the current government, this government must make sure that the tax policies, as he's talked about tax rationalization, they must make our tax administration very friendly to the business people. And I'm sure the business community, once the tax administration is very friendly, the tax structures have been aligned, and those that has to be removed has been removed. Specifically, like for example, VAT, we pay tax on tax. That must be realigned. It shouldn't be in that line. And when you're able to do this, it's going to make sure that the business community will open up and business will flow. And the government wants to focus on the 24-hour economy. This can be achieved when there is the tax environment is very friendly. So for me, the tax administration point must be friendly. The taxman must not be seen as an enemy to businesses, but must be seen to enhance production. And that is the way to go about it.
Well, let's talk about LPG now. The price of LPG is expected to go up by some 3% per kilogram. This has been influenced by rising prices of the product on the international market. Speaking to Joy Business, Vice Chairman of LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kumi, is positive the stabilization of the cedi could help reduce the impact of this increase on consumers.
2 to 3%. Well, if we are lucky and our suppliers, the BDCs, are magnanimous enough and take off that expected percentage increase and give that to us as our new year bonus, then we are going to see a very stable price. But if they decide to pass on the increase to us, we also have no other option than to pass it on to our cherished consumers. So it depends on how the BDCs also react to the upsurge in price of the finished products that we are seeing on the market. But even when you also check for the price of the next window beginning 16, the indications are already out and it's also showing a positive sign. So we are likely to see some increase in the price of LPG going forward. We are hoping that the incoming administration will work quickly to stabilize the cedi. The international price of the product, we have very little control. But if the cedi is able to stabilize and even appreciate against the dollar, that will knock off any potential negative effect that international price of the product is likely to have on the product locally.
Let's see how that goes. But that's Gabriel Kumi of the LPG Marketers Association. Back to you, Sweetie Abochi.
Thank you so much, Kojo Brace. And that wraps up the AM News Bulletin on the AM Show. But of course, the news review comes up right after. And Dr. Kwame Asasante is joining us to review the newspapers. We're back in a bit. Please stay.